Now we are.
Welcome to Catfish Weekly. Along with James Smith, I'm Chalile Stokes. James, we're going to have a great show tonight. It's springtime. The weather is warming up. The water's warming up. The fish are starting to bite.
Yes,
we have
sir.
two
Don't make me
stands
laugh
fishing
too
with us
hard.
tonight.
You killing me. Don't make me laugh too hard. I'm hurt too bad.
You're going to get my rib hurting again.
Oh, my kidneys can't take none of that. Oh, son of a gun. We got a lot of great people in here tonight, Chad.
We do, sir.
Let's give them a few shout outs before we get too far along.
Go right ahead. Start us out, sir.
I say JP3 Country Boy Ernie Brown. I can't go all the way back to the top. So if y'all was in here earlier, shout out again so we can see your name. There he is. Lyle's playing with us, ain't he?
There we go. There he goes. Always
something. There's Chrissy Brown, Mike Irvin, John Patrick Jr. There's Mark from Catfish and Crappy Good Hook. There's Miss D's in the house. Go ahead. There's Cindy in the house. Go ahead there, Chad.
Let's see. I see. I'm not sure if you said them or not. Catfish and Crappie. Georgia Fisherman. Sharina. Keeping it real. Mike Irvin. Betty Jean Cross. 3+1. We got Chrissy and Ernie Brown. Philip Williams.
There was Fins and Fines in here.
Eric Burnside.
Trying to catch some that you might have missed.
I see Mike Greenwell Fishing. Thomas Littlepage. What is up, Thomas? Great to see you. Country Boy Catfishing. We already said Downtown Ernie Brown. Sharina. You got to keep Sharina. Say her a couple times. She's awesome.
I got to talk to her and Thomas on the phone the other day. I'd have sent them out a big old packages of something for their shows and stuff. So Sharina, look in the mail. It'll be there in a couple of days, sweet lady.
That is, the excitement she has for catfishing and stuff. It's just contagious.
It is. They're having fashion hooks and hammock. The fishing magicians in the house. Catfish Fever. So, Chad, I'm going to let you start out a little bit. I'm going to stand up for a second, then I'll sit
All right,
back
buddy.
down.
All right. Well, appreciate it. There's so Fishing with Big Mike. So, Stan, I'm glad you was able to make it tonight, sir. I know we were supposed to have Stan 3, but he's got something going on, so appreciate you coming into the show tonight. Who would have thought, my friend, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, you was one of them superstar supporters.
Yeah.
And you were encouraged.
Unbelievable. What the I can't say enough for what this has done for me. And I still try to be one of those superstar supporters, but the more you do it, it's hard to keep up.
It's definitely harder to keep up these days. There's a lot of great channels going on out there. I mean, obviously, most of our viewing audience right now in the chat is fellow creators and fishermen that like to go put out videos and do lives and such like that. So, what encouraged you in Stand 3 to start Stand Day Sunday? Is that what it's called?
Stand Day Live, I guess is what. Stand Day Morning Live, I guess. It kind of turned into a thing. Like you said, I was however many months ago. We really started putting out videos and doing our live. Really, we're not putting out a lot of videos yet, but that's what we're working on now. We started doing our lives in October, and about mid-October is when we really started doing it. I've got some physical issues and whatnot, and we've kind of gone over some things like that. But I managed to catch Chunky Cats fishing live the one night. Had a message pop up on my screen, and not really sure how that happened because I didn't have notifications on. But the rest is history, we'll say. I caught that show, and I was just talking before about that contagious energy of somebody like him that just loves fishing that much and loves entertaining people, and that kind of just got contagious. And I wanted to talk to everybody I could talk to and watch everybody I could watch, and I wanted to be like the Chad, who was the super moderator back then, and just shared the love with as many people as he could.
I've heard some great things about that young man. He is my favorite. So just putting that out there.
He definitely one of my favorites too.
He was a good guy. So you fish the James for the most part, correct?
Oh yes.
I mean, I know that's where you're all normally on the banks at.
You see, it's kind of a long story, but I'll keep it short because it's only an hour show, and we know that I start talking and it'll just go. But
we know.
I was originally from Louisiana, so I moved upstate New York when I was younger, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Stand 3 was raised. We moved on a lake in upstate New York, lived right on the lake. So that's Stand 3's childhood, was fishing every day right out on a mountain lake up in New York State. So he's been around fishing since before he even remembers. I think we had him camping on a lake when he was 3 months old. So that's always been. But up there it was pike and bass and big bluegills and giant crappie. It was nothing for us to go out and catch a stringer full of 14, 15, 16 crappie. And
nice.
That was what we were brought up, he was brought up on. Well, long story short, we ended up down here in Virginia, happened to be, 15 minutes from one of the best catfish rivers in America. And
absolutely.
And so what do? You fish for what's there. And when you've got opportunity to go out and catch 40, 50-pound fish with the possibilities of 70, 80, 90s, you fish for catfish.
Absolutely.
Possibility of hundreds, yes.
Yes. So Stan's out in the kayak quite a bit. When are we going to see the father-son tandem in the kayak? Or are you waiting on me?
Yes, when you and I do we'll do the inaugural big guy kayak trip, then we can do it from there. When they can find a way to put strap 3 or 4 kayaks together and you can still fish out of it.
Hey, Big Nasty got in one. Y'all boys can get in one now. That rascal's almost 7 foot tall, and he ain't no little man. I promise you that. Flint Hill ain't no little man.
No.
True.
Flint Hill's a big old boy in that kayak.
Yeah, Flint Hill was talking to us in chat the one day, saying, they'll hold us. They make them that we can get out there and do that kind of thing. It's just us getting the courage to do it. It's like getting Creole up on ice.
But now they do make the training pontoons that goes out of the side. I said that being funny, but they do make the external pontoons that goes out to the side. And Jeff had bought some of them. I think they aggravated him a little bit, but they did make it a lot more stable.
Yeah.
I can't get in them either because of my back. But to me, I think that is probably one of the most stealthiest way to catfish right there, man. That'd have to be fun, especially hooking in 30, 40, 50-pound cat that's still green. He can jerk you around, son.
Without a doubt. And when Stand 3 first started doing the kayak catfishing, and he was calling me the first time he got that first sleigh ride by a big 40 or 50-pound blue cat, and that catfish is dragging him around up in the on the James River. Mm-hmm. There's just nothing, there's nothing like that. But on a safety note, for those of us that are kind of even if you don't have physical limitations and things, respect the kayak, bring it out on lake or pond first, smaller waters. Keep it by shore. Get yourself to you're proficient with it first. Learn the safety. Always have your vest on because yes. I'll tell you what. Weeks ago, I was fishing at the James, and I'm sitting there on the bank, and I wasn't doing a live or anything, just there. And all of a sudden, these rescue trucks come pulling in, and God bless, God bless our first responders. Within 30 seconds of them hitting that parking lot, I was amazed. I thought it was a paramilitary outfit that was. They hit the parking lot. They were back down the ramp. The rescue rafts were out. There was 4 or 5 people in each one of them. I would say it took all of maybe 30 seconds from the time they hit the parking lot till the time they were in the water to go up the river. And within 2 minutes, they were back down with 2 people and 2 kayaks. You know, they see the James River, and it doesn't look like the Mississippi or one of these other rivers, but that current is there.
It's
there's a lot of times we can't hold with 8 or 10 ounce. So if you don't know what you're doing in a kayak, don't go out in the swift waters.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
safety first.
I was gonna say that's a great point. I mean, it doesn't matter, river, lake, whatever. Respect the water you're on. You know.
Hey, even bait fishing, Stan. I mean, you got to take a chance. I busted my tail many a time bait fishing, rolled off in that freaking water. Wintertime, summertime, it don't matter. It don't take but a split second. And got to keep eyes out for them 4-legged animals too, because one evening we was down there fishing and a rabid raccoon come up on us. Luckily, we was always armed, but there's a lot of hazards just fishing, period. So safety comes all around the boat, not counting them little slithering snakes that'll bite too.
Well, I'm laughing about that because anybody that's watched our lives, I'm sure, have seen when I start trying to walk around the rocks on the bank, there's more than a couple comments. Get off the rocks! Get off the rocks!
I've been watching a few times, and I'm like, Stan, please be careful. Please be careful.
Exactly. Yeah. There's which God bless y'all. Thank you so much. I know that's a sign of concern and friendship, and I can't tell you what that all means to me.
Well, and it is, because it's like, we do have a good community of people, and I'm sitting there watching, and I know that I can't get there very fast, so Stan's going to be long on down the water before I ever get there. Yeah. But I know that Stan 3 can paddle pretty quick, so
yeah. He would he would be there. That's but I'm always safety is first, and I try not to do anything that I shouldn't say that, because I shouldn't be doing that stuff, but
it's hard to. You're exactly right. So goes Patriot James, armed. Who would have guessed? I said, yep, always.
Yeah, no doubt.
So when you have bank fishing, are you pretty limited at the places that you get to go fish as far as off the bank on the James?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's not a lot of, if you watch a lot of other lives, a lot of people have access to, pretty good, you pull up and there's a flat bank and you're able to go fishing. There's not a lot of that here. So henceforth, I'm fishing on, banks and rocks. There's places to go, but there's not a lot of those easy access places to go. And then you're right here by Richmond, which is, it's not a huge city, but there's a good populace that, they love catching these big fish too. So you run into a lot of other fishermen, and so it's tough to get. It's tough to find some spots. You've got to really put the time in to try to find them, and then you got to try to find good ones that have the right depth and current and things like that, and so it can be challenging.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's part of fishing, period. You got to learn navionics. You got to learn Google Earth. You got to learn your terrain. You got to learn a lot of stuff that goes along with it. There's a science that comes along with any type of fishing, especially us catfishermen. We're not like a ditch pickle fisherman. You can about find a ditch pickle on any bank, but catfish not necessarily that way. So we have to really do our homework. They can call it a poor man's sport all they want, but it ain't a dumb man's sport.
Yes, that's for sure.
Not at all.
If they want to go out and try to catch a good old catfish, they might get into a mess of daggone channels. But when you want to put quality blues and flatheads, you better do your freaking homework.
Yeah, and that's these shows are, they will help people exponentially. Whether you fish from the bank or you fish from the boat, you can pick something up just about every show. Things that they do in the boat, you can find the same kind of things from the bank, and try to adjust your style a little bit. You got to change some things, but if you listen to, even on the bait shop, there's some good fishing things on there. It's a lot of fun, but you'll get your you'll get some really good tips if you pay attention in between the laughs.
The small
Especially if
details.
Yeah, especially if you listen to the one fine gentleman, Chad. He's very good. He's one of Lyle's favorites. The other guy's fairly good at what fairly knowledgeable, but not as good as the Chad. So, but
You
yeah,
just got to
they're
put on
really
your
good
rubber
stuff.
boots and wade through the BS to get to what you need to hear.
Exactly.
Oh, y'all killing me. Oh, my God. Them white rubber boots. Ain't that what y'all wear? Ain't that right, Stan? From down there in Louisiana, they got to be them white rubber boots, ain't they?
Well, I couldn't find the white ones, so I got yellow.
I was saying, you got the little rubber ducky boots or something. What you got on when you're fishing out there, ain't it?
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, well, like we said, I'm a bigger person, and I was trying to find some boots this winter, and I was trying to find some muck boots, and I just couldn't find a big enough pair to get on. So we were at Tractor Supply, I think, and these are the slip over that go over your own shoes, but they had really good tread on them, and so hey, you do what you do. You do what you got to do, and I'll wear my if wearing my rubber boots, my yellow rubber boots out there means I can get out on the bank and in the mud, I'm wearing yellow rubber boots. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I
tell you what, especially in that cold. What's that?
I need to cover a
James?
question. Somebody asked that, Chad, you're doing a great job, but wants to know where Mr. Lyle. Mr. Lyle had some medical things. He's fine. He's just fine, but he's wants to let y'all know that he will be on future shows in a couple of weeks after he takes care of what he needs to take care of, but he's just fine. We're just going to let Mr. Chad fill in. He's got that big, long white beard, so he's filling in pretty good. And plus, Chad's fun to have on the show. He's a good host as also. So thank you for coming in and helping out, Chad.
It took them almost 20 minutes to even notice that I wasn't Lyle.
Yeah.
I can't believe
you keep yours a little bit longer and, longer, I'll say that. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Chad. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you are good. Mr. Lyle will be, like you said, but back shortly. He's doing good. He's just wanting to take care of some things. Yes. So, Stan, you do a lot of the banks on the Sunday and stuff, but we've seen you out in the boats a couple of times, and you've not made it to the kayak just yet. No. You've kind of made some folks question: are you going to go full boat at one point?
Well, hey, whatever you got to do to go catch the fish. If you've got a friend that shows up with a boat and says, "Hey, you want to go fishing?" You jump in the boat and go fishing. It's boat is probably I would say boat. I'm not going to say it's easier fishing. If you've got conditions walking and things like that, a boat can be great because it's flat.
I agree.
You can sit. You don't got to try to walk out to the spot. You're not walking on uneven bank all day. That just it kind of tear you up a little bit. And if you're in a spot and you're not having luck there, you move. Right. You drag baits. You go to another side of the lake or downriver or upriver. Right. Which from bank, it's you got to pack all your stuff, walk the half mile back to your car, which takes me about an hour.
I get it.
But
but at the same time, it does force you patience that a lot of people in boats forget.
Yeah, and a lot of
to set up on a fish, knowing that they're going to be transitioning through there. David Martin is a good person that he will set up and he will wait them out. He knows they're going to be coming through there. He's done his homework by being forced on a bank to set up on that spot. When you pick that spot, you pick it one, you know that they're going to be there feeding, or two, you know that they're going to be transitioning through there to go feed. And if you do that, you're almost guaranteed to catch a fish if you're there at the time for feeding.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I said, you watch a lot of the shows. Muskrat Adventures on Tuesdays does an awesome job of well, first of all, Catfish Weekly. I mean, between the different guests that you have and James, between you and Lyle, the information that comes out. If you don't learn at least a couple of things every Catfish Weekly, every Monday night, you're not listening. And then you got Catfish and Crappie after that. An awesome show. Mark, another awesome person. You always pick up something there. And you got, like I said, Roger on Tuesday nights talking about the things that he does. And they do mostly boat fishing, but you can take a lot of, like that thing about the Pythagorean theorem and trying to how to pinpoint getting your bait right in front of the fish. That's awesome. And Epic Catfish comes on there a lot and will go over encyclopedias worth of knowledge. And James, of course, your show on Wednesday night, God Bless America and its catfishers. That we need more of that. And but every night there's you learn something every single night. Our Creole and I show on Friday nights now, from bank to boat, we're trying to cover the whole spectrum of questions from the beginning person that just started up to people that maybe going on tournaments, and we're trying to cover that whole thing. So every night, if you tune into the shows, use the information that you learn. Yes. Try to figure it out on your own waters, because things are going to be a little different, and it will help. Take that knowledge and put it to your own waters. Use the things like you were talking about before, Navionics and Google Earth, and studying the maps, and you put all that together, eventually you're going to come into them.
Yes. And I mean, it does. Each show has a little different twist on things, and you got to pay attention. That's why my show, I always talk about small details. Mm-hmm. Where Chad, you, and me might all drag the same way if we're all three boat fishing. We might be dragging Santee rigs and 30 foot of water off a channel edge. But where I might have mine out 100 foot, Chad might have his out 150 foot, and you might have yours out 70 foot. Mm-hmm. Well, 200 foot. And it might be those long lines that are actually catching the fish, or it might be the short lines. Mm-hmm. But we as fishermen, we so used to doing it that way, sometimes we forget to tell it, because it already becomes second nature to us. That's why I try to reach and pick. All right, I know you drag baits. I know you do this. Why do you do that? Yep. That's what I want to know. I'm still learning too, guys. That's what I want to know. Why did you do that? Why did you pick that spot? That's why I was asking you about locations. I got boats. I got two boats. One I'm rebuilding and one that we run. I still bait fish as much as I boat fish because I love it. To me, it's nostalgic. I remember the days of fishing off the bank with my grandpa and my daddy and stuff, and they're no longer here on earth, so I still go down there. And I'll bank fish by myself just to kick back, don't turn on nothing, just sit back and listen to the water and enjoy that time. And I know that you get that sometimes staying out there fishing on the river, hearing that water run by you like that would have to be so relaxing. I hate we don't have no rivers close by here that I could do that.
Yeah, it's with the rivers, like I said, there's the spots. You just gotta, same thing like you said. I want a hole, access to deeper water, ledges, flats up by I want different types of things so you can cast into different areas from the same spot and find out where they are that day, and listen to what the fish are telling you. So if I can find that, that's what I would rather have. I'd rather have current, a hole, deeper hole, ledges, some cover. You want all of it in the same area, so you've got access from that spot to all the different areas, so it increases your chance of where the fish are at and what they're doing that day.
Oh
yeah. So I was going to ask you that, Stan. So like when you guys are setting up on the bank, because Virginia's unlimited, right?
That's right. Yep.
So when you're setting up your rods and stuff for the day, and you're casting them out, and because you probably know your main spots pretty well by now. I know you guys have fished them pretty well, right? So are you staggering your baits at different depths, or are you doing the old heave ho and launch them as far as you can get them, like I used to do back when I bank fished all the time?
Well, we're always looking for, first of all, y'all see that Stan 3 is out there with me, and just kind of takes it easy. I got to do all the work and bait all the hooks, and he's just kicking back there, and I'm trying to do all of the work, and then I got to do the talking too. So it's it gets
just like tonight. He's taking a nap, and you're here hard at work. It's fine.
But no, seriously, I couldn't be out there without him, so I can't tell him how much that means. But we're always looking for things to help. We want to put the baits in as precise a spot as we possibly can. Upriver, so it swings back against the swings back against the channel. Some right up on the edge of that channel, some in flat. And you might have one or two where you just chuck it out as far as you can just to see. But it's we're trying to do things. This is something that I want to try to do. Right now, because of the shad season, there's so many boats that are just all over the place. It's tough to do it, but when that thins out a little bit, you can be looking to see me using these from the bank.
Nice.
From Uncle Lou's Tackle on Facebook.
People with rivers don't understand how great that right there, what you're getting ready to say, could be for them on a river system.
And you've heard James, Patriot James talk about the bobbers with look for all those opportunities you can on, it's a river with moving current, but there's spots where you can float that bait with that bobber.
And there's also eddies where that water is actually moving upstream, and you can throw that bobber in there, just let it kind of just swirl around, and it carries your bait, and it will present your bait in multiple spots all day long.
Yep. There's a couple of spots where we're down from a railroad bridge, where from casting it's kind of hard to get to it, but I want to try to get this and let the planer board. Let it bring the bait out to as close as possible to those bridge pylons that I can. So, just anything like that. If you're on the bank, that can help you get your baits in the exact spots you want them in.
The only downside about bait fishing with planer boards, when you break one off, you can't chase it down.
No, that's
what you do on that kayak, you do, though, ain't it?
That's for sure. He'd be paddling it quick too. I was talking with Epic Catfish the other night, and kind of trying to come up with a secondary plan in case that happens. Having it hooked up to a kind of a backup line, let's say. But that's things that I want to have worked out before I actually go out there and really try to start doing it. But that's what we want. That's what I want to try. And, you'll see Stan 3, he's been doing, he actually entered the kayak, Kayaks and Cats that does the, he took he was in it last month. It was his first month in it, and he took second place.
Really?
Congratulations.
Yeah. It was Green Machine.
Nice.
Green Machine ended up first place, and Stan 3 was second. So. And
we forgot to say this, Mark. If you like the show, please share, hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to this channel or any brand new channels that you're not subscribed to in chat. Check them out. Share the bait, guys and gals. Sorry to interrupt. We forgot to say that. Always forget to say that.
Well, Chalile's brain doesn't always remember everything, James. Getting up there.
But I don't have but two brain cells, and one's chasing the other one around and around, and they don't ever come together. So we'll get it together sooner or later.
Yeah, we'll get there. So that's really cool though that he's been really showing off about the kayak fishing. All the fish that he's been putting some whoppers on that kayak, so it only made sense that he would get in that with Dan and Kayak Mike and all those guys. That seems to be
and
just
riding
like
the water.
catfishing over the last year and a half or so, it seems to be exploding, right? And the kayak game is definitely seeming like you're finding more and more of the kayak catfishermen coming out and showing up.
And Chad,
So,
with that being said, all you boat fishermen, please be aware of that. A lot of them do night fish. So please be aware that they are a very small piece of that scenery up in front of you. Please be aware that the kayak fishermen out there, and they ain't easily seen. So I would suggest that everybody wear a bright orange flotation device only.
And no matter what vessel you put out on the water, whether it be a little kayak like that, a John boat, those lights at nighttime, if you can have that red and green light on, and the white light so you can be seen. You talk about especially in rivers like if you go down any downriver, any in the James from Richmond, you've got the Port of Richmond, and you've got the barges coming up. So those dang barges ain't gonna see a little kayak. They'll be lucky to see it with a light on it, but and they can sneak right up on you before you know it. They're there. So
they don't see boats, and they're not going to move. You better move. They're not moving.
But have the lights on the kayak, and that'll help with some of that visibility thing.
I think if you was a kayak, I believe I'd have me one of them tall sticks that's got one of them strobe lights, like these bicyclers that rides bikes around. Strobes.
Yeah, I tell you what, I know that on my little boat that I bought, and they would work on kayaks. No, not the new one, but my old boat is on Amazon, and they're about probably about 18 inches long, but they're red LEDs, and obviously those LEDs are going to be way brighter than your older lights.
Yes.
Then I would definitely suggest putting something like that on. And all I have them is they clip right onto a battery as soon as it gets dark. That way, and they're bright, buddy. I love them.
Hey, and red don't draw bugs.
Like that. No?
Red don't draw bugs nowhere near as bad as other colors.
Oh yeah.
Well, Chalal, I thought you would be with the red and green lights. That's something that you should be used to, right? I mean, that's Christmas colors there. So that's.
Oh, I love Christmas. Oh, Stan.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
It just got him a mark on the goodie list, didn't it?
I'm probably going to get a stern talking to later. Let's see.
But before we get too much further, we do want to make sure everybody to say a prayer for Stan's wife. While we in here, Stan, she's in our prayers for sure, and to make a speedy recovery. I didn't want us to get all the way through the show and not at least get some extra prayers in there. We all can use a prayer now and then.
Oh, amen to that.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, she's had some breathing issues, and so she's in there for a couple days, and I'd be since I can't be there talking with her, I'd rather be here talking with my friends. So
that's right. Talk about some fishing. Hopefully, like James just said, hopefully, it's a speedy thing. She gets feeling a little better, and she'll be back in chats helping me make fun of you at least by Sunday morning.
Now, do you get many flatheads in that area that you're fishing off the bank there?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because yeah, we do all right. Obviously more from the kayak. Stan 3 put one out. Was it in January or February? January, February, within the past month or two. He had a 54-pound flathead from the kayak.
Mm-hmm.
Dang right. That's a pig.
I bet that was fun.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. So,
yes.
and we're upriver. We're kind of right at the fall line where the tidal river James starts, and the upper James goes from there. The upper James is your non-tidal river. It's just the one. So there's a fall line that's just up from Richmond. So it's basically two kind of distinct rivers in one. You know, upriver from there, you've got your smallmouth bass, largemouth bass. There's some muskies further upriver.
I heard bait.
You know, there's flatheads up there. But right at that fall line is where the majority of your flatheads kind of, it's got current, it's got the cover with the rocks and bridge pylons and structure. And
oh, yeah.
I think it was you, Patriot, that was bringing up, it might have been you, we're catching them on lures. And there's a couple of people that do pretty good in the area with catching them on like the swim baits and
big rubber swim baits.
Yep, the big swim baits or those big paddle tails that you use for stripers. And you can actually, out in the current, catch flatheads on artificial bait.
See, that, I mean, besides this new live scope or whatever they call it, I think that right there is going to be a major change in the tournament world, catfishing world. I can't ever see me paying that kind of money for one, but for somebody that does a lot of tournament fishing, that's going to be the next big change in tournament fishing. And it's already making a difference in the tournaments now. But I think this is just my personal opinion, but I think the next big change in catfishing is somebody's going to come out with that artificial bait and show us how to use it in order to catch fish. Because now, don't get me wrong, here on Lake Wally, we catch a ton of flatheads on cut bait, a ton of them. In fact, I don't think I've ever caught but one flathead on live bait. But I have caught blues on live bait. Catch a good many blues on live bait.
Yeah.
So I think that there's an opportunity, and I've caught tons of channel cats over the years of my days of bass fishing on, you know, crankbaits, on daggum spinner. Well, I ain't caught but one on spinner bait. But big rubber worms, I used to throw them big 10 and 12-inch rubber worms. I throw big baits. I went head hunting all the time. I'd go for broke, or big giant lizards. And I've caught a number of channel cats, but that was before the flatheads and the blues was in my waters.
Yep.
Now that they're in there, I haven't had that chance to try it, but it's got to work. It has to work.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know catfish rely a lot on sense of smell, but they got a lateral line that runs the full length of their bodies that detect vibration and a small, minute electrical pulses, just like a shark does.
Yep.
With that being said, you know good and well they feel that vibration. They feel that vibration of a thumping bait, like them big paddle tails you're talking about.
Yep.
That paddle tail's always thumping in the water. They got to feel it.
Yep. Yep. Those in talking with Epic Catfish, Tim Scott, and other people that they are, they're basically the sharks of the fresh water. Those big blues and and flatheads even, but they and the channels, they each have their own distinct thing, and the flatheads have to be master of all of it. I mean, not the flatheads, the channel cats, because they're not as big as the blues and they're not as big as the flatheads, so they kind of got to get in where they can. And I think that's why you have so much luck where you talk about the chicken baits and the livers and the this and the that. I think that's why they work so well on channels, is because the channels are so opportunistic, because they have to be. The blues have their notch, the flatheads have theirs, and the channel cat's got to be everywhere. So I think that's why that other kind of bait works so much better on channel cats than on other ones. That it's because of that.
Plus, I think the channel cats get to them before the big fish. I ain't saying that the big fish won't eat that bait. I just don't think the big fish get a chance to get that bait.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, with Parker Pursuit says like this, he catches a lot of cats throwing deep diving crankbaits for bass. And if you get what looks like a fish in the strike zone of any predator fish, and they're hungry, they're going to strike at it. So
yeah, I mean it's a reaction. Yes, I mean that's what you did in bass fishing. They didn't really have they got a sense of smell, but it's nowhere near what a catfish is you're looking for that reaction bite.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what you're trying to trigger in that catfish, is that reaction bite. A flathead, them eyes above his eyes on top of his head, yeah, he can smell it. But he does a lot of reaction bites, buddy. You can bet your tail he does. Well, how many times have you seen? I've seen them videos of what them whales catfish over there in England coming up underneath them bridges and grabbing pigeons that's down there getting water. Ducks, grabbing ducks. You know, a buzz bait. Everybody's heard of a buzz bait for bass fishing. That buzz bait sounds exactly like baby ducks trying to learn how to fly. That's what it sounds like. And they will destroy it. And you know, a big old flathead laying up there in the shallows and something comes swimming by his head. Oh, it's dead meat.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I'm going to, I don't know if it'll be this week, but within the next few weeks, I'm going to try to make sure I always got some night crawlers with me just for you, James, because I've heard what you put out to people. And you'll see me one of these days. I'm going to have that big old wad on there for you. And one of the biggest fish I was hooked into when we first came down to Virginia was on a few night crawlers on a hook. And I didn't have the line for it. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know that we had catfish here when we first came down that was that size, but it was on some night crawlers. Right. And, you know, you bring up the Wells catfish. That's one of the main techniques they use over there. That flunker, plunk, plunk, plunk. They get it irritated and then they drop that big, if you look at it, it's a big wad of night crawlers with like a bass jig skirt over top of it. And it's a wad of night crawlers, what they're using to catch those Wells catfish.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Don't mean to interrupt you. Mr. Junior Proctor this weekend, his partner on the boat put a 59.7 blue in the boat on one of Patriots bobbers.
Woohoo!
Big blue. Waiting on that video to come out. And Mr. Larry Neal, I didn't see him in chat tonight. He sent me a video of he got him a 15-pound blue today on Wiley. He sent me the video. I didn't get to see the fish, but I got to see that bobber looking like that Jaws movie where the barrel's going across the water. So that was pretty cool. Thank you guys for sending me those videos.
Lyle, you know how we know how fish are instinctual, and for those of us that who didn't grow up bobber fishing, there's just something to me. You never know. I mean, you see a pole go over, you kind of know what it is. You're lure fishing, you kind of know what it is. You see that bobber start, you don't know. It could be a state record. It could be, you never know. That to me, it's just, we were raised like that. So I think over time, like just seeing that bobber is just kind of an instinctual thing. It's just so exciting.
Yeah. Chad, how many times have you thrown crickets out trying to catch brim or something, small fish, and daggum catfish grabbing crickets?
Oh, a few times out, especially out of the small farm ponds and stuff that I fish. Yes. All the time.
Yeah, so you never know what
fishing with them or them little bitty minnows.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. One of the biggest channel cats I caught over 16 pounds was fishing for brim in it was a little pond out behind a hotel in Georgia when I was in the Air Force. We were just out there catching some brim, and all of a sudden, I knew then that wasn't I knew that bobber went, it was gone. Yeah. So I knew it was either a carp. I thought it was a carp, actually, is what I thought had happened, because I was just using them little small red wigglers on like a size 6 hook, and that sucker just gone. And I had a little ultralight pole with, I think 2 or 4 pound test, and probably about half hour, 40 minutes later, in came that big old channel cat. So
there is still a bait pole to this day. And when I was a little kid, I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old. I don't remember how old I was, but I was using my stepdad's bait pole that he let me use. And to this day, I don't know what ripped it out of my hand down there bait fishing next to the cattails. He went in looking for it, but he never did find that pole. Who knew was it in that pond? It wasn't a big pond, but it's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parker Pursuits. I don't know if you saw that there. If you don't get Jack seeing a bobber going down, it's time to just give up fishing.
That's right.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell.
Around here, that the water temperature in the river and the creeks is just about prime. They're starting to catch more flathead along our area of the Ohio, so it's almost prime. So we got really the month and a half, almost 2 months, where it'll be flathead time. So my wife has yet to catch one, so that's what we're going to start targeting. So we're going to be getting out there with some bobbers and finding someone.
Chad, guess what?
What?
In about 2.5 weeks, she gonna get about 2 weeks.
That's
she gonna get her chance.
I'm looking for
flathead bite is on, son. Flathead bite is coming on hard on Wiley.
Now you know that she's in there listening, and now any pole that goes down, I'm not going to be allowed to touch.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Oh, listen. Oh, wow.
No, that wasn't a shot on Chalile. We just know that whether it's Diane or Dee or they are just gonna get that big old fish of the lifetime. Y'all have heard my stories about accidentally letting some of Diane's fish get away. Would have been a New York State record over 4 pound crappie, and it got out of the fish. I accidentally let it out of the fish basket. Yeah, I slept on the couch for about 2 weeks with that one, but they just have that that second. Her favorite thing to do was when we fished up in the lake and up was spinner baits in the early part of the year. She would love spinner baits, and God bless her, she could pick that one set of lily pads out, first cast, boom, and she's got she just had that. So that was not a shot at the Chad, because we know how much I like the Chad, but that was just a compliment towards the D.
Yeah, well, if guys and gals alike, when you get to the point in life that watching somebody else catch a fish, or it may be even a fish of a lifetime, don't excite you, you need to go climb back underneath a rock.
That's right. I as long as D keeps it at least 1 pound or more underneath my boat record, we are perfectly fine, so that I don't have to hear about it until I get up it.
That is true. That does add a whole nother thing that a lot of people don't have to.
Yeah.
I'd say you probably catch more slack with that than anybody else I've ever seen.
I'm all about it. Honestly, and you can attest, Stan, when you guys did the couples tournament, and just how excited Diane was to catch that fish, and taking D out, and she fished a tournament with me, and she landed that 23 pounder, and it was just like their eyes, it's like Patriots. What you're saying is they're smiling, their eyes light up, they get so excited, and that's what it's all about. It's like taking kids fishing, and they're just having a ball.
I don't know if I ever said this because y'all didn't hear it on there. When I came back and she caught the fish, she's like, "You should leave more often. I caught the fish when you weren't here."
I'm glad she did. Yeah, hey. It makes a good day, man. It does.
So much
if that's
fun.
The only fish caught that day is still a good freaking day.
Yeah. That whole day, the first day, it was we were fishing with you, James, and your wife, and your significant other, and JP3 and his wife, and my wife. She still talks about that to this day. What fun that was!
It was. It was a blast.
That's her only time. That's the only time she's ever been on YouTube. Was that one couples challenge, and
my wife too.
Yeah, she had a blast.
Yeah, my wife too. In fact, that's the only time she's ever been fishing with me. Was for that couples tournament. Yeah, so I appreciate that, Chad. I do. So we're looking forward to the next one. We got to redeem ourselves, but she's gonna have to get her sea legs ready, because we ain't going back to that lake. We're going to we're going to daggum Wiley.
Well,
she just don't have good sea legs, and Wiley can get messy. It can get pretty hectic on weekends. So that's the only downside about it, is that we would probably have to pick a place that I can shoot. across and get out of that boat traffic.
Yep.
Because she'll be hollering, time to go, time to go.
That's one. That is one reason why I chose to do kind of late in the season, is you start losing some of that boat traffic, as the pleasure boaters are going away. I mean, obviously out in your area, it's going to be sometimes a little bit warmer than maybe more central the U.S., but that's kind of why I was hoping. And then the ladies would have a little bit better boat ride, more than likely. So.
Yeah, you're going to see. I mean, April is still kind of early, but it ain't early on Wiley. I mean, they already, the pleasure boaters are already out. Like today was bumping close to 80, and it's supposed to be 80 tomorrow. So it's going to turn them fish on, Chad. They turn it on.
I'm excited.
You're going to see some pigs come to the scales.
I plan on trying to bring one, whatever, Deal's going to have to carry it for me. If you guys saw my video, she had to weigh my fish for me because I couldn't, but I'll bring her along so she can catch them, and I'll take pictures with them. So
there you go.
Hey, whatever it takes, the way I feel about it is whatever it takes to get it to the boat. If you're out there fishing with several people, to me, whatever fish you catch, that's a group effort. It's not one person.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody gets involved with that, and I would much rather. Same thing that Patriot James said before. I would much rather be watching the person or helping the person or talking to the person that's catching that, and I get more excitement out of that anymore than me doing it myself.
Yeah, well,
Stan, that's what I've said. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, get up. Yep. Okay.
It's what I've said all along. It ain't about what we receive; it's what we give.
Yep. And that's what, one thing we've been practicing, especially with tournaments and stuff, right? You have to get out of that mentality of it's mine. You're out there as a team, right? There's one rule and actually D made this rule up, is she has to reel in the first fish. Because if she reels in the first fish, we actually we tend to have, it's like a superstition, right? We have a good day. Anytime I reel in, that's the only fish we seem to catch that day, if we catch anything at all. So,
that brings up a good point, and you've heard Lyle talk about it before. You can see how you and D work together. When you see these good Epic and Catfish heroes, that I was joking around about stand 3 before, but we kind of got a good system, and it's just from going out and spending time together on the water. And we kind of know what the other one's going to do. He puts the poles pretty much where I wanted them put anyhow, but he's putting them there already. We're kind of on that same page, and one of us will get, we each have kind of our own poles, and whichever one goes first, that's who usually gets that. But then every pole that's the next person. We try to go back and forth with who catches
right.
So he catches one, I catch one, whatever, and that's how we kind of try to. Unless I'm like, I can't get up. Go ahead.
Got a question, Chad. Got a question for you.
Yes,
what
sir.
if that first fish becomes up a double? You make a reel in both fish?
Ooh, she better get that first one in before I can get that second one in, because I'm going to be reeling and tugging. And then I'll get it to the boat just so she can get hers in the boat first, and then I'll pull mine in. Unless he's a whopper. And then then she better just put hers down and grab that net.
There you go. I had to ask it. We winding down a little bit. We still got a few minutes left. Yeah. Now, what's your future plans as far as your channel and your shows and stuff like that?
I'm just I still cannot I can't thank everybody enough for the support. I still can't believe that here I am on Catfish Weekly. I can't believe I got the Friday night show with Creo. We're doing bank to boat with Creo Catfishing. If you're not, that's on my channel. But I call Creo my broadcasting brother out there. I love him to death.
Funny.
We have a great Friday night show every Friday night. We're doing that. We do the I do the stand day morning live fishing every Sunday morning out there with my son. So we're going to keep doing some more of that. You're going to see some Stan 3 is trying to get where he can do some more videos and stuff from the kayak. He's been out a couple times, and he did a couple lives out in the kayak. That's kind of the thing we're going to try to do a little more of on the Sundays is I'll be on the bank, and he's going to go out in the kayak. Right now our little John boat is down because he had an old 9.9 on there, and the lower unit on that is kind of, they only last so long, you know. It's I think that dang motor's older than he is. So. But you know, that there may be a boat in the future, you don't know. But when you're on these big waters like this, it's advantageous to have a boat to get to the, because you're in bigger waters. There's spots where those big fish just aren't going to come to the bank. You have to go after them. I'm not saying you can't catch it from the bank, but you'll have more of a chance. You'll be in the better spots. You'll be able to see more fish or put your bait in front of more fish just being in a boat. So, you know, that's something that, you know, in the future, I'm sure we will, but we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. People seem to like it. I, you know, as you can see, every time I'm on here, I got a smile on my face. Really think of all y'all as family members. So,
yeah. Well, Stan, I mean, you know, exactly. You know, you definitely have the personality. You know, people love the passion that you bring to the show. You know, your shows and the bank on Sunday. Your father and son, and then, you know, there's always the little one that tags along from time to time. That as long as you got your toenails and stuff painted just right, you'll catch fish. So
yeah, little Smith.
You know,
you're gonna see more. Now that the weather's warming up, they can't wait to get out a little more. And there was a couple mornings we had to actually make her stay. It was, you know, here in Virginia, you don't get 13 degrees very often, but every Sunday, this whole year so far, it's been 12 or 13 Sundays. There's only been 2 of them that wasn't rain, sleet, snow. So now we hit April, and God bless her, the one morning it was, I didn't think it was supposed to be as bad as it was, and it turned out this pouring rain for hours. And God bless her, she was out there with us for 5 hours trying to catch that fish, and not a once did she say, I want to go. You know, 11 years old, so you don't find that a lot. So
yeah,
not nowadays anyway.
No, sir.
Back when they was raised on the riverbanks and didn't have technology that we have nowadays, they would be more apt to do it. But nowadays, nah. But
well,
yeah.
James, you know, old school, you would never say that to your parents. Brought you somewhere, you were lucky to be there. You didn't say I want to go.
That's right.
You're exactly right. What?
There was no going home early.
No.
We're going home when I'm dang ready to go home.
That's right. You don't like it?
Well,
you
never did hear kids say that. We was always enticed with doing what they was doing, or doing our own things, running off through the woods. If it got bored fishing, we had daggum woods to run in, and animals to chase, and snakes to find, and whatever. You know, it was just.
Well, I saw a comment out there by Parker
nature.
I saw a comment out there by Parker Pursuits, and that means a lot for him to say that we're dedicated. Him and Mo Creek out there in Chad's last Blue Cat tournament. Yeah, we fished in a little bit of freezing rain and, you know, fried my phone and stuff, but they were out there in minus whatever degree, and they fished with frostbite. So, I mean, you know.
Well, I'm going to tell y'all guys one thing. My old ass is not getting out there in that kind of weather. I don't have nothing to prove. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Been there, done that, don't want no more of it.
It gets a little chilly out there sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've fished many times with the ice freezing in your eyelets, and you'd have to thump the eyelets to get the daggum ice out of it so you could reel your stuff in. And it's fun. It is. But the older you get, you know, you start looking like Fred Sanford coming in trying to reel your stuff in. It no longer becomes fun. When it becomes painful and irritant, and when you get cold, guys, it's hard to get warm if you ain't got a fire. So, you know, be safe. Right. But go ahead.
Well, gentlemen, we are right at an hour. If you are not already subbed, get ready to head on over to Catfish and Crappie. We have Mr. Mike Chavez on with Mark tonight. So that is immediately starting in about 40 seconds. So should be a great show. And if you're hungry, you might want to go ahead and grab a snack because Mike Chavez is probably going to make you even hungrier. So, Stan, thanks for joining us tonight, buddy. God bless you and your wife. She's in our thoughts and prayers. So, again, thanks for coming on tonight. This is the Chalile, and then we got over here, Mr. Patriot James. James, thanks for having me on with you tonight.
Oh, I enjoyed it, Chad, as always, my friend. And Stan, like you said, you and your wife and your family's in our prayers. And if anything we can do on the catfish world side, just let us know, my friend. And
hey, y'all already.
That being said, God bless America and God bless each and every one of you. And we'll see y'all next Monday night.
See you next Monday night.
Go check out Mark and Mr. Mike Chavez.
Take care, everybody.